Fusion Rock Radio on Demand is an association with MTV.
A lot of campaigns, the issues, in my opinion, got somewhat clouded at times, and you often run up against some misleading information, some half truths that kind of get put out in the political spectrum. But again, that's part of politics, and so that's kind of changed the way we do things in Burlington, I think, and going forward. However, the populace certainly spoke, and I was very pleased to see that we had a huge turnout of. We had a really great turnout of voters, and I think that's always a positive. Oh, very much so. I mean, Burlington, I think, certainly going by reports from all the polling stations, there was lineups of people, and it was great to see people out there engaging themselves, and that's the most important thing, because then you get a real decision. Well, I'll tell you two things. Number one, make the commitment. Make the commitment to be an engaged resident of your community, whether you're in Canada in terms of province, or whether you're in the United States in your state or your municipality. Make that commitment to be an engaged voter. Number two, every vote does count. I can tell you certainly the results in our recent municipal election here on Monday, that we literally, one of the council seats came to less than 100 votes. One of the school board trustee votes came to within 20 votes. So that is literally how close these elections can become, and every vote does count indeed, and it does make a huge difference. So please, I say to everybody, engage yourselves. Do your homework, get the information, make a commitment. Sure. I mean, absolutely. I mean, the onus has to be on the voters. I mean, it is one of the it is the single biggest right, the single biggest opportunity you have to almost cast the fortunes for the next 4 years or 3 years or whatever the term may be for your community or your government, and so you have that great opportunity to be part of the decision-making process, and it really does count for something. Certainly the onus has to be on the voters to do their homework. What I love about the technology we have today, everybody has very exciting websites for the most part. You'll get the information in brochures and mail-outs and handouts and flyers. It doesn't take a whole lot of your time to find out a little bit of information from each candidate. And I would suggest that at the end of the day, when you make that decision to vote on somebody's behalf, regardless of whether they win or lose, you're now an engaged voter, and you certainly have that opportunity to then question what happens in the next 4 years or the next 3 years. So, sure. We had a lot of fun doing those videos too. Well, like a lot of people, I was a bit of a frustrated taxpayer in the city, and wondering a little bit in terms of the direction of our council was going. I grew up in Burlington. I've lived here all my life, and so I wanted to make sure that I had that opportunity to. I've had a long history of giving back to the community, and I really wanted to be part of that decision-making process. Well, the candidates certainly ran a strong campaign, and they were certainly at it, as I say, for almost a 2-year period. At the end of the day, I certainly have. I was often questioning the commitment to the community that she had. Having said that, there's a big job ahead of her in the next 4 years, and hopefully she can deliver on half of the promises that were made during the campaign. It's awfully hard as a politician. Pardon me? I think it'll be an awfully hard job to do. I mean, especially when you make promises that you, as an individual, will fix this and fix that. It's a tough go, and you have to work as a team. You have to work as a component, and you're only one vote. So it'll be a challenge, but we'll see what happens in the next 4 years. Gosh, I wish there was. I really wish there was. The reality of today's municipal government and beyond is that it costs money, and you try to self-finance as much as you can. You try to get some donations from friends and family, and beyond that, it's a challenge. Even the sake of simply getting a newspaper ad costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars, so it adds up pretty quick. Boy, I'll tell you, I had one person mention to me one time, you might do just as well simply buy one billboard, put it up in a strategic part of town and say, vote for me and see what happens. And that may be a way to go somewhere. Who knows, we may try it someday, but the reality is today's government's tough. Oh gosh, we did, yeah. Oh, I think the youth vote was as big a component in this municipal election as it has been in probably 15 years. And I think that we did engage a lot of the youth vote with our videos and with our YouTube stuff, and I'm so proud of that. And I'm as I said before, I'm a real big proponent of really engaging the youth a lot more than we do now. I think it's something we've fallen down on in the years in past, and so. I think it was a big part of it, and I'd love to. So should we move forward in 4 years to run again, I'm certainly going to focus even more on it. That, well, one of my biggest issues was I talked a lot about fiscal responsibility, and what I meant by that was certainly in Burlington, we spent a lot of time and effort over the last 2 terms of council, spending a lot on kind of the wants of the community, a lot of capital projects, a lot of expenditures that, and although very wonderful and very lovely, I thought it was just time to start to pull the reins in a little bit on that sort of spending and start spending a little more on the needs of the community. In other words, we talk a lot about the term infrastructure, and it's not just sort of roads and municipal services, but it's also about social services in terms of, making sure that at the end of the day we spent money on things that benefit all of the community. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the mayor of Burlington has now become a pretty big job. And I think that it helps a lot if you've had at least one term of experience as a council member. Having said that, nothing is out of the potential in the years to come, and so it would be an intriguing prospect for sure. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we have no regrets. I can tell you that we had a fantastic campaign team, and certainly Hughes and Radio, or Tommy, you were a big part of that. And no, we're very proud of what we did. It was timing is sometimes everything in municipal politics, and it wasn't certainly our time in 2010. Having said that, 2014 is only 4 years away. It goes quickly, and it's certainly on the. It may be on the back burner, but it's not. That fire's not out yet. So, who knows? Yep. We sure are. As a matter of fact, we're going to. We've got some videos coming up shortly, and we are going to continue this premise. We'll keep it going, and absolutely, I just loved doing that question and answer, and I'd love to continue doing that, even if it's, 2 or 3 times a year, and even if it's a case of I can get some input from the listeners, and I can take that forward. I've got a few avenues down to City Hall that I can take it forward. I'd love to continue doing that. I'm looking forward to it. Keep in touch. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're always looking forward. You can't worry too much about the past. The past is done. We're looking forward, and it's always exciting to move down the road. Not at all. Well, I'll tell you, that's a great question. I was asked that more than once. I think there's a big difference between someone who is looking for a political job and someone who's looking to simply do a job. And I certainly put myself in the latter. I was a person who's simply looking to do a job that I felt is an important job. I think it can be an honorable job, and I think it's a job that has to be done by important. Not important. It's a job that has to be done by passionate people, and who have a real feeling for the community. And at the end of the day, the term public servant is what you would want to be termed as. Politics almost seems to be a profession, and I already have a profession. I don't need to be a politician. I was looking to be a servant. So, well, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Two 2010 Fusion Rock Radio production live 365.